Hey guys, it's Charlene. Today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous mixed media card using some new Altenew products. Today I'm working with the Build a Garden Blossoming Freesia from Altenew. You can see this kit, it's fun. It comes with lots of different things. You've got your little mini blending brush, this beautiful stamp set, and of course with the Altenew packaging you get all of the examples, those beautiful colors to show you how to bring everything together. There's a coordinating die with the kit, as well as some stencils. You can see it on the top. There's a masking stencil and then a dot pattern. So that's a really nice addition to this kit. And then there are stencils for coloring in all of the blooms. So I'm going to start out here with a piece of vellum. We're going to do mixed media on vellum. So I'm just going to tape that there, and then I'm going to come in here with some glittery texture paste. I'm using the Arctic Fox from Picket Fence Studios. You guys know I love this. And I'm just going over the whole dot pattern. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried mixed media on vellum, but it creates a really fun look. I'm not worried about the bottom here. I'm not taping it off because that's actually going to be my cut line for my card. So I'm just going to make sure I get all of those little dots filled, and then once I have them all filled, I'll go over and smooth everything out. You do want to make sure to clean your tools as well as your stencil with some warm soapy water once you're done. It makes the process a lot easier, but there you can see those cool dots. We're going to set this aside to dry, and then we can move on to our beautiful blossoming freesia. I'm working with the Jet Black Fresh Dye ink from Altenew. This is great for alcohol marker coloring. I'm not doing that today though. We're going to be doing some ink blending with the stencils, and I'm going to show you how to get a really nice 3D look when you're working with these stencils. So once I get my whole stamp covered, I'm going to go ahead and flip over my plate here and stamp it onto my cardstock. I'm using the Stampwheel. I love my Stampwheel. I've been using it a lot. If you watch my videos, I know you've seen it in a lot of my videos, and I just really enjoy it, in particular because I can go ahead and stamp, remove the plate, and then as you can see here, I just took my stencil and I stuck it right over the top of my image so I could color everything in. And I know that stencil's not going to move because it's stuck all the way around the edges. So I started out with some puffy heart, and now I'm coming in here with some warm sunshine. So anywhere that the warm sunshine kind of blends over the puffy heart, we're going to get a nice orange. So we're going to have some pink, orange, and yellow florals here. And I'm just varying where I put the pink and where I put the yellow. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason here other than I want the pink in general to be more towards the center of the petals and the yellow to be on the outer edges. But you'll see some of the petals end up being completely yellow and vice versa. And we're going to add a couple more colors in here for shading once everything's done. But I'm going back again here to the puffy heart. That's the key to a really nice blend, is to go back and forth between your colors. So I went pink, yellow, pink, and that's going to help create that nice orange color. So we'll take that off, and you can see how pretty it's already starting to look. Have the second layer of the stencil here. I just repeated that same process of putting pink and the yellow down, and you can see some of my petals are more pink, some are more yellow, and it just creates a really beautiful look. Initially, when I first started doing the stenciling, I had just intended to use the puffy heart and the warm sunshine. So you're going to see I'm actually going to move on to the centers as well as the branch here. I'm going to use some forest glades, and I'm going to take a brief moment just to apologize if you guys hear anything. I'm actually recording this voiceover in my car because we have some work being done to our house. So hopefully you don't hear too much noise in the background. I'm trying to avoid that, but I do apologize in advance if you hear anything. I've got the forest glades here, and now I'm doing the branch that comes off of the florals. And I'm not using a second color for shading. I'm actually shading with the one color. So the way you do that, you do an all over with your ink color, and then you come in with a second darker coat in the areas that you want to look like they're shaded. So the areas that are at the base of the florals and then on the bottom side of the stem. So that way you have a little bit more of a 3D look here on this stem. So we can take this off now and you'll see, oh, it's looking so beautiful. And now here's where I come back with a couple of darker shades just to add some more details into those florals. So for my darker pink, it's kind of a purpley pink, I'm using Purple Wine. This is a beautiful color. You can see I have the detail blending brush here. This is great for getting into those really tiny places. And for my darker yellow, I'm going with a yellowish orange here. I'm using Caramel Toffee. I think this is such a beautiful, warm yellow orange. It's just, oh, I love it. So again, just going in those areas where I think those petals would be a little bit darker. It's going to be towards the base of the petals and then a little bit on the top of the petals if I want it to look like the petal is sort of turning over. Hopefully that makes sense. So now we can take that off and look, so beautiful. Okay, we're going to go ahead and finish up the detail work with the darker colors on all of the other stencils. You can see I'm just pulling them off after I finish that work on each one. And then the really awesome part about doing this directly on the stamp wheel is that once you're all done, your paper has not moved, your stamp hasn't moved because it's still on your plate. You can go back in and re-stamp, and that's really going to darken up your line work from the stamp, taking it back to that really nice black, and it's just going to kind of give you a little bit of wow factor, I feel like. Another thing you could do here is to stamp in embossing ink, and then you could heat emboss in black, and that would give you even more texture and dimension to your floral. It would look really pretty. So cutting that out with the coordinating die, now we can move on to our mixed media here. I've got my alcohol inks out. I'm starting out with some blending solution, and now I'm going to drip a couple drops of this gorgeous pink color. I have my air blower. I'm going to blow that around a little bit. I know kind of in my head that I want my alcohol inks to go across the right hand side of the card and dip down onto our gorgeous paste there. So once I get it kind of where I like it, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol. Now rubbing alcohol is going to give you a different effect. It's going to give you this kind of spatter-like effect. So I've sprayed that on there. You could also drip it on if you prefer. I like the way the spray makes it look, which is really fun. That's just isopropyl alcohol. You do want to use a high percentage. I use 96% isopropyl alcohol. Tends to work much better than a lower like 80%. I don't recommend using that. So I'm going to keep using my blower tool here and moving that beautiful alcohol ink out. I'm not going to use any other colors of alcohol ink, just the pink. You could come in with a yellow and do a similar look to what you did with the floral if you're using the same colors I'm using here, because the pink and the yellow would blend to make a really nice orange. Now I've got some more blending solution because I know I want my alcohol ink to come down more onto my texture paste. And what's fun about this, you can see once the alcohol ink covers the texture paste, the paste takes on the color of the alcohol ink. And that'll be much more noticeable once everything is dry and I have a close-up here. So I added some more of my isopropyl alcohol, again using my blower tool, and I'm just going to keep doing this until I get everything exactly where I want it. And you'll notice I only started out with a few drops of alcohol ink. You don't need very much alcohol ink for this technique. Just a couple of drips is going to go a really long way on this. Once everything is all done and it's all dry, I can go ahead and put this onto a card panel. And what I'm doing is I'm using some double-sided adhesive here. This makes it really easy because then you're not going to see any glue or tape lines or anything like that underneath the vellum. It's all going to be consistent because it's all going on top of that double-sided adhesive. So I took a A2 sized card panel, so 4¼ inches by 5½ inches, added my adhesive sheet on there, then remove the backing from the other side, and now I'm just placing this where I want it to be once it's all done. And once it's on there, I can smooth it all out, and that's why you want to wait until things are dry, so that way when you smooth it out, you're not getting alcohol ink on your fingers and fingerprints on there or things like that. Now I can trim off the edges. I'm just using some scissors to do that. And now I'm going to stamp our sentiment. I'm using the happy birthday sentiment here. And also, I can't remember if I mentioned the name of the alcohol ink. That was Fiesta, that bright pink I was using. I will list down below in the description to everything I am using in case you have any questions. So now I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive to the back of my panel, and I can put it on my card base. And you can see there that you can't see any adhesive underneath the alcohol ink panel. I love how this works out. Now I've taken some foam tape, I've added it here and there to the back of my beautiful floral. Just going to get it where I like it. I wanted it to kind of go on top of the alcohol ink, but also down and over our mixed media. Off camera, I did go ahead and die cut out the word die friend as well as the shadow. So I've got my stamped happy birthday, but then I have the die cut friend. And I'm going to glue the word directly to the card panel, but I did pop up the happy birthday. So here is our finished card. I hope you guys picked up some tips and tricks today. I did want to mention this video is part of the Creative Wonderland video hop for Altenew, so there are giveaways involved. Definitely check the description for more details on that. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that I can continue bringing you more crafty content in the future. Until next time, happy crafting.